Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Farming Simulator 22, continuing our Start From Scratch tribute run here. This is a tribute to my grandfather, who was a farmer for all my life, for sure, and then, I guess, most of his life as well. But yeah, this one is for charity. I know I say that just about every time. I just want to keep reminding those who may be new or whatever, but we are just about to start rolling these fields here. If I can get this thing lined up properly. We've already seeded everything. We just got to get the rolling done. And then we'll have to do some weeding next month. But other than that, these fields are ready to kind of let grow. Should be looking good. They are. Still says mulch, which is fine, but underneath that is the double fertilizer that we have. We're just going to roll right across and just do the other field's header as well. I'm actually going to let the worker start for just a second. I want to get out. I'm going to check these, make sure everything's looking good. 100%. 100%. And just need the weeder to take care of the weeds next month. But other than that, everything's looking really good. I wonder, can we can't weed right now, can we? I'm assuming we have to wait for the weeds to grow a little bit before we can actually, well, weed. But I think if we were to use liquid, chemical weeder, herbicide. So I'm trying to say, I think we could do that now, but I feel like the weeder, you would have to just have the weeds actually pop up. All right, I'm gonna let you turn around and then we'll take it back over, my friend. Actually, we'll just take over now. I can handle this. Say that. Suddenly I can't. Apparently I do not know how to drive as well as I think I do. I missed a little bit up there, but that's okay. We'll come back and we'll do a header here in a minute anyway. Make it a little bit easier to turn around. Got a little bit ahead of myself driving forward before it had fully rolled down. About to get that turned around properly. I think if I made it a slightly tighter turn, just do a full turn and be already lined up perfectly. Just wasn't quite there this time. Whatever we got last year from our fields, we'll get a little bit more this time around, because we actually did all of the steps. What step were we missing last time? Were we missing the mulching? No, what was it? I thought we were missing something last time around. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different thing entirely. Look a little goofy, but we'll get a header put on here. A little easier turnaround. Anything else we need to do right now? I mean, I guess honestly at this point we're just gonna finish this up, fast forward a month, and then weed, and then that's it, right? There's not really much else for us to do. I mean, we're waiting on the price of the soybeans to go up. Want to keep an eye on the clothing price, and not a lot else otherwise. Now, at some point, we will have more crops variety on our fields to kind of give us a little bit more of some more interesting things to do. We're a little ways away from that for right now. I did it again. It does not roll down very fast, does it? It's interesting that you can roll backwards, though. But I guess it makes sense because it's just, in this context, it's just a wheel or a cylinder. Some of the equipment, though, you can't do it backwards because, you know, it only works in the forward direction, which makes sense. I wonder in real life, well, I mean, I don't even know how much rolling comes into play in real life, to be perfectly honest. But in real life, do you, if it is a, you know, a thing that you do regularly, do you use the same equipment for all the types of crops? Because I feel like this roller here is, you know, it's for more narrow rows, whereas cotton, typically, from what we've seen, is got a little bit of space between it. So these extra ridges don't do anything. Now, I get it for the game context, you know, that they just kind of use one roller and it is what it is, but I feel like it would not be a one-size-fits-all normally. It's also possible that there's only certain crops that you actually are rolling and some other crops you just don't even bother with. Or maybe it's handled as part of the planting or something like that. Who knows? Rolling obviously being one of the new things in FS22 that we have not seen in FS19 or any of the other ones as far as I know. I set myself up to be able to finish that one pass. I think it might be a little too wide. A little too much overlap. That's all right. Almost. Almost had it perfect. How much horsepower do you need for that big roller? This one actually feels like it's slowing down this tractor already. 350 horsepower. Goodness. What's our tractor at? 280? It probably could pull it. It would struggle, I think, a bit. I would imagine it's pretty heavy. Field number 1, almost done. Now we shouldn't need the narrow tires for the weeding because it'll be in the first stage of growth of the crop. We should still be able to weed without any issues. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get some of this done. We'll come back in a bit once we get a little bit further along. And, yeah, we'll see you in just a bit. All right, we are almost done here. Just a couple more passes here, and we'll be done with the last field. All the other ones are done. Turn off the mulching. We can see everything is fertilized. Really ready to go. The really only, I guess, negative thing is that we do have weeds growing on these that we'll have to deal with. But other than that, these fields are in a very, very good state. Unlike that field in front of us that has a lot of weeds growing right now. Almost done. I don't know why that's discolored right there. Even when I roll over it, it's still discolored. It's kind of weird. What is that? I have no idea. It's like we did something there that messed something up. I don't remember what it would have been. So I checked everything. Everything looks good as far as fertilization and rolling and mulching and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure. What could we have done there? I'm sure you guys will remind me if I did something silly in one of the videos. Plowed it funny or did something just slightly different in that spot. So very strange though. I mean, everything looks okay. So, no idea. I turn some of this stuff off. Yeah, there's nothing underlying there that I can see. I don't know. All right, we are fully rolled and ready to go. I'm going to drive over here and just check this real quick, just 'cause I'm curious now. Looks normal to me. Let's turn this roller in. Return. And nothing on the use items. I would imagine nothing on the prices. Nope. So we can fast forward to a new day and get ready to weed. Look at all them beautiful weeds. Oh, I saw him coming. I saw him coming. And I was like, this is going to hurt. Oh, that was so good. I kind of wanted it to happen, though. I probably could have stopped, but I was, you know what? Let's see what happens. All right, let's come over here real quick and make sure the weeder... Oh, no, we do need the hoe. So if we had used the weeder on the first, before it actually started growing, would that have worked? Because it definitely said weeder earlier, but now it says hoe. I'll have to try that next time. Next time we will, we'll actually try and weed the grown-up grass and see if that does anything. It feels like it shouldn't, but the fact that it changed, you know, is very telling. All right, so let's go get the hoe. Anything here that we want? I mean, Massey Ferguson tractor is nice. Speaking of auger wagons, that is a massive auger wagon. What in the world? I don't know if I've ever seen an auger wagon that big before. That is crazy. All right, sorry, got distracted. We don't destroy crops, do we? No, we're good. Although we are destroying the weeds. I will just drive my tractor over it. We're good. Yeah, the weeds are getting destroyed, but the crop itself is still good. But not very efficient. Just be driving my tractor around. We need a weeder. We need the hoe. Which is going to be more expensive, unfortunately. But what you going to do? Like I said, next time we'll try the other thing. Wish there was another hoe. That's the only hoe that we have. Yeah, because we could have gotten one of these other weeders. Probably this one just to kind of keep it around the same size. Yeah, it would have been way less expensive. Now, weeds obviously are different in FS22 than they were in FS19. In FS19, the entire map just got weeds. Like, regularly, you know, once a day or something like that. So, weeds came in. That was it. You know, you got weeds. And you could either use a weed or you can use the herbicide. As far as I know, there was no penalty for using herbicide. The weeder was obviously good for when the crop wasn't growing up. So it was really based on the crop growth. If the crop growth was too high, you had to use herbicide. If the crop growth was still low, you could use the weeder. But now the weeds themselves have their own cycle. So it's a little bit different. Quite a bit different, I guess. And the hoe's pretty easy to use, so will not take long. Yeah, I think next time I will try the weeder at the lowest growth level. See if it actually works. I mean, it said weeder. So that kind of leads me to believe that you could actually have done something with it. But I don't know, it's hard to tell. I mean, I love to use the herbicide because it's like the easiest thing to use, but they put in a penalty if you use chemicals. So we're going to stay away from the herbicide. kind of interesting that stuff like this even works, you know, without disrupting the crop that's there. Now, we're being pretty cavalier with our positioning, obviously, because it doesn't matter as far as the game's concerned. But I'm assuming in real life you have to be, like, very precise. Like, line these up perfectly over the crops and things like that, so that it's only touching the stuff on the outer edges, not the crop itself. It's possible at some point the penalty for using chemicals gets outweighed by the speed that you could use the chemical vehicles. And at some point you just say, you know what? We're just gonna go for it. How we looking? Looking pretty good. What's that little black thing right there? Oh, is that lights? Where are my lights all of a sudden? I can't remember my lights for some reason. One second. There we go. Yeah, okay. So those are lights. I wonder why it's only on one side. Kind of peculiar. But kind of interesting at the same time. I don't know. I'm fascinated by the little things, guys. I use lights all the time, and for some reason, at that exact moment that I needed to turn them on, I like had a sudden like, wait a minute. The thing that I do all the time without thinking about it, now that I have to think about it, what do I do again? I don't know if you guys have ever had that happen before, where you're just like, you know something. Like, it's literally, like, I don't know, like a habit you've got, you know, or like muscle memory almost. And yet, you suddenly forget about it because you're thinking about it all of a sudden. So instead of relying on the muscle memory to just do it, you're trying to think about, okay, what is it, that thing that I do again? Human mind is so strange sometimes. Might have been pulled you up. Nope, nope. Wrong button. I hit the wrong button. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get some of this weeding finished up. If you guys know, if I could have just used the weeder in the very, very first stage and would have been done with it, then please feel free to comment below. But it's just so different from FS19. I've never tried that before. So let me know what you think. I guess I'm assuming it would work because the weeds died when I drove over them. So presumably they would have died when I raked over them with the weeder. So in my thinking, it should work. But without actually trying it, I just don't know. But we'll definitely try it next time we do this just to see. But like I said, just let me know if you already know, because that will help me out. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.